Ranger.
All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Moonduck coverage of the Northern Arena Beat Invitational presented by Bell. These are going to be the main qualifier playoffs, and we are at the winner bracket finals right now. This is going to be one step away from the grand finals. Winner of that gets to go through to the LAN in Montreal. Definitely a lot on the line here. It's now a best of three between Team NP and Infamous. I'm Android, being joined this time by Modpax. What's up, dude?
Bell, Canada, woo! I always get excited. It's so weird hearing like these, telecom companies. It's like Comcast, kind of like where you guys like shred them all the time, and then it's like it's basically the equivalent of like Comcast is sponsoring. No, they're okay. I know they're all awful, so they're all just equally okay. That's pretty much the end of it.
That's
God bless
a great
Bell.
thing to say while our sponsors are listening. Thank
Bell's
you so
the
much,
best.
Modpax.
No, we love Bell. That's why. See that this is what gives them the one up. You see, so that's a Drow Ranger. That is
it is a Drow Ranger first pick.
Yeah, not banned out in the first. We kind of talked about it last night, but as you guys are probably well aware, there's this whole other big tournament going on right now called MDL, which is great because that means meta things are being evolved overnight. Players are waking up here, assuming that they're not staying up for them, and seeing these picks and these games and being like, oh, well, that's interesting because there have been some pretty wonky developments. It'd be kind of cool to see how much of that comes into play here. The biggest one that I was even going to talk about would be the Bat Rider. Seen tons of it paired up with the IO, been extremely successful. NP had one pick with it early in the tournament, I do recall, but this guy has just been like tearing it up against everyone. Like, it's ridiculous. And with the Shadow Demon and Oracle banned out by Infamous, it's like the perfect situation for NP to snag it 2-3.
Yeah, I mean, Bat Rider's been picked up in, I want to say, a vast majority of the games I've seen in the last 2 days, and it's only going to get stronger here until teams figure out a way to deal with it. Now, what do you think about this Drow first pick? It's almost always first round banned, and I haven't actually seen it in the hands of Infamous in a while. What kind of synergies are they looking for?
Well, it's always important to remember how it slips through and why it's being given away and stuff like that. In this case, NP not banning it out because they don't have the first pick, so therefore that means that they don't value it that highly on its own. They're comfortable seeing it picked up first and then going immediately for two things to go up against it. And right there, you're seeing Keeper of the Light and Bat Rider, someone who can jump in the back lines, snag them up, and then Keeper of the Light up against that early game push. Super handy for some split pushing action. Can immediately assemble your allies for like quick ganks and stuff like that too. So I'm already like super comfortable with what they've brought to go up against this. And then Infamous go right back into that Ogre Magi. So they're not going for the Venge, which would have been one of those heroes that's also a counter up against the Bat Rider, pairs well with the Drow Ranger. They're trying to look for something to just kind of bolster up that early game, a little bit more pressure in the lanes. It's scary stuff. Drow, she's been banned for the majority of MDL, pretty much always in the first phase, so we haven't seen too many successful strategies out of her.
Yeah, I mean, the couple times I've seen Drow Ranger, she's been run in that more traditional position 1 role, not the, wonky 5 heroes ranged push strat, just more of a sit back, farm up, get your typical items, sometimes the Tesla Ranger with the Aghanims and the Mjolnir, but I'm excited to see what Infamous do, and again, this is going to be a upper bracket match, so the loser of this match drops down, and they're going to be going up against the winner of FDL versus the Wild Witch Doctors, which is happening right now in Client. We are only 2 people, cannot cast 2 games at once, so unfortunately that game is going unrecorded, but winner of that game plays the loser of this game for the spot in the grand finals, so it's all going down here tonight. We are almost done with the qualifier bracket here.
Speaking of in-game, is yours functioning?
Mine is not functioning.
Ah, there we go. Good to go.
Attaboy, right. Modpax.
Yeah, it wasn't me. It was someone else. So shout out to you, Chatter. It was Red Alert. What a guy. Good stuff. So where are we now? Jug, OD gone. Another hated hero. Always nice to get rid of that, especially with the Drow Ranger. As if that guy needs any more help in the mid lane. So that's not going to be happy. Same thing with the Viper, right? That's just kind of nice little mech builder. Heads mid. Makes life easy.
Oh, there's the Nyx, though. That's been banned out pretty heavily. Nyx, so much gap close on that guy. He's just going to squiggle around right behind you. One of the strongest ways to deal with the Drow Ranger is just not let her be that backline sentry turret. Get that gap close, get those jumping spells, get those stuns, and just go at her.
I like it. You get to deny it up against Infamous as well, just because, they could have grabbed it up against the Bat Rider. Would have made their draft much more nicer. Oh, there's our Venge. Okay, this is pretty good. Man, you almost feel pressured to grab, like, a ranged offlaner, but Bat Rider's gone, so...
I mean, Windrunner's a possibility. It's just a little quirky.
The true pub strat, man. When someone picks Drow and you're like, nah, I can go wind off lane, it's fine.
Dude, if we want to talk true pub strat, we have seen our fair dose of Huskar in the last day or so, Modpax.
Yeah, that's true. That's always a little
I
bit of a
mean,
concern.
is that something Infamous could even be thinking about, the Huskar Drow combo? Or do they
If they
need
were
dedicated
going
Dazzle
to,
Oracle?
yeah, I think they would have IO Huskar like second phase if they were going to do it. So I assume with the Venge here, it's not happening.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see both Ogre and Venge picked up. They both have that hard stun. They're both kind of lane dominating supports. How are they going to run Venge differently? Because they usually fill the same role.
Venge will just be like a chill 5, just hanging out with Drow Ranger the vast majority of the time. Ogre will be kind of that aggressive roamer. He might be running on in while the Bat Rider might be doing stacks in the jungle if he has a harder offlane, assuming it's going to be MSS on the hero. The benefit to Ogre, he's just like Elder Titan, where he just runs on, does his own thing. But Venge, you know, he gets some good levels, some pulls, and you can be a nice little asset to a Drow. You leave those two alone because you're a Bat Rider going to the jungle, and they can push down your tower pretty fast. Try and get that snowball rolling. So you can understand the whole idea of just getting that hero, having to save against the Bat Rider. Pretty important for them.
So no possibility of core Venge here.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Okay, good. I mean, I've seen it a couple times in the CIS region, but not to a whole ton of success recently.
No, it's a nice, like, kind of, like, almost like a fake play, kind of. Like, you just whip it out and you're like, aha! Going for this, but... Miss Dota. This was successful for them up against the Witch Doctors, right? They went for that Storm Spirit, and one of the few teams who aren't running Storm with the Omni whenever they're bringing out that Storm Spirit. That has just been ridiculous lately. Good old repelled Storm.
Storm Spirit is so vulnerable in that pre-level 6 window before he has that mobility, so you gotta gank him as much as possible, but Drow Ranger with that extra bit of damage from the range attacks just helps him farm up, stay a little bit safer, get more out of the lane, and it just makes Storm so much stronger.
Yeah, it's also good here just because there's no real pressuring hero. You're looking like there's no Elder Titan or something. He's just going to come like stomp mid and let Razor, you know, give you that static link. He gets on the other side of you and just runs you down. You die. It's still not going to be easy because your Razor, or rather your Storm Spirit into a Razor. Like Razor's going to have the upper hand here. But with a Nyx Assassin showing, you assume that's position 4. There's not that much he can do early to someone like a Storm Spirit. And there's the Omni ban as well. I think that's still safe just so that it doesn't get that off-lane Omni that we saw like Tavo playing before.
Yeah, I think everyone does not want to see that. It's just so strong, and no one quite has a solution. So last pick for Infamous coming out. We'll see what they're going to do with their off lane. I mean, there's the potential for them to run 2-1-2 lanes because they do have those 2 lane supports-ish, or they could have position 4 Ogre just kind of stumbling around with Venge dedicated to the Drow Ranger and a more traditional offlaner. So we'll have to see what they go for here.
Yeah, what are we rocking right now? Tide is like the default answer here because he gives you a mech. He kind of facilitates that early game push. It might help for like the off lane puck.
That's blast from the past right there. How do you feel?
It's tough to do this when you don't know what the position 1 is. Generally, you do this when you're like, okay, this lane's gonna be okay. Like he can't kill me. Nothing's gonna happen. It's gonna be bad for me. Instead, they just have to like ban out an AM and be like, okay, well, hopefully they don't find something that's really gonna mess with their puck because there is no Iron Talon. There's no jungle. Like this is a puck going to lane. Question is, how do you abuse that right now? Like there's like a Sven or something if you just want someone with a stun because you like mana leak, run out and start right clicking, then puck has like orb back, then he just can't come to lane for 10. Man, this is whew.
Yeah, Sven might actually be really good. You've got that hard stun, you scale up phenomenally, nice little wave clear, but not quite sure they share the same power spike, Razor and Sven. Sven needs more time to come online. Razor does not want to fight super late game, but Naga Siren picked up. This is going to be our second core Naga we've seen in the last 2 days. How do you feel?
Interesting. I don't know. I kind of liked. I'm just thinking like almost like an axe or something at this point. Just someone like now they don't have anyone who really abuses ancients or anything, but timing and whatnot. Will be a little bit of a later game coming out here. It would seem.
Yeah, I mean,
how does that benefit NP? Pretty well.
Yeah.
Gonna look like yesterday with that Huskar lineup that didn't quite manage to breach that high ground at the right time, and then Radiance comes into play. And how do you gain control of the lanes with a lineup like this at that point?
Yeah, the big wild card is the Storm Spirit. He can do a whole lot late game if he's allowed to get pickoffs, and NP, they don't have the best ways to deal with pickoffs. Like Nyx can just kind of impale and run away. Naga Siren can song and run away, but you know, if Keeper of the Light's caught out, if Bat Rider's caught out, there's not really much they can do against a very angry Storm Spirit.
Well, the all-important question of who gets the first wards down here. Ooh, actually, oh, there we go. A little bit of a late TP here from the Dire side.
Yeah, they'll still get there, though. We got our Keeper the Light, and he's just an unbelievably strong laner. He hasn't picked up his level 1 yet, obviously, but wouldn't be surprised to see early point in Mana Leak just because it's so obnoxious to deal with in lanes.
Yeah, what are they going to have? So, AUI is on the Naga. Are they going to be pressuring once again? What are they into? A Drow, Venge, an Ogre. I wonder if they're trying to dodge. Like, the whole point of these nice early wards is trying to figure out where the lanes are going to be, so you can just make sure you're getting the matchup that you want. If we consider the heroes that they have, SVG, like, it's not like he can really harass mid. He can't jungle, so he certainly wants to be putting some pressure onto somebody.
Yeah, he wants to just be that little chihuahua nipping at someone's heels in the laning phase, trying to slow down Infamous's farm. Now, what's so dangerous about Infamous? Because Drow Ranger, yeah, she's going to farm, but she can't just kind of come at you and do crazy damage. Puck is a nice little offlaner, shouldn't be dying too much, but also not huge kill potential until, you know, level 5 or 6. So what does NP have to focus on in this laning phase?
Just not getting run over, right? Typical Drow lineup. Puck will probably... I mean, it depends on how Puck's game goes. Ideally, you want to get that Veil and you're just, like, pushing in, but that puts a ton of pressure on your Storm Spirit to always be the initiator, so you might end up with this, like, weird kind of just Blink build, kind of more classic Puck, but that's something that we've seen just fall off for the reason of, like, that static scaling of damage is just so harmful on a Puck. Not nice, you know? I mean, yeah, you can get the new int bonus is kind of cool for Puck. It's nice you can, like, clear full waves later on in the game, but if you know that Veil, it's pretty underwhelming in the earlier stages.
Alright, so Observer Ward in lane, and they do manage to drop a sentry and take out the Dire Observer Ward here, so NP lose that vision into the bottom lane. It's hard for them to see who's rotating out to stack and pull the camps, so they may have to just drop another one. They sentry here, unfortunately, just out of range, so that's going to be the end of the initial vision drop. Naga versus this tri-lane, how's that going to fare for Aoi?
It's good, right? Talk about, like, having the Keeper of the Light, we got the Nyx Assassin, down here putting that pressure on. Ogre is drawn away from the mid lane, so we can't help with the Storm Spirit, so Envy's going to have a nice time. As long as you're not, like, feeding ridiculously, then this is going to be pretty great for NP, and I don't think they will. We used to see Keeper of the Light in this situation all the time. Specifically coming from the Radiant side, you'd go up here, you'd blast through these trees into the cores, and it was just hell to deal with. So, same idea, probably going to be coming down here, where you try and get some posturing inside the trees, and just be outright awful towards Drow Ranger. It's already pretty hard to farm as a Drow in the early game.
Yeah, I mean, just getting up to the wave is pretty risky. You've got the Keeper of the Light just sitting there spamming Illuminates for all he's worth, and SVG's got that point in Impale, so Drow Ranger has to keep back as much as possible. Now, switching to our mid, we've got Storm Spirit versus Razor. How's that going to play out for Envy?
Oh, I mean, final time here. Like, nothing's going to go wrong for him. He pretty much just has control of the entire lane. Early on, just getting static links, dealing some damage, and then just controlling and pressuring Storm Spirit as much as he wants. Like, until you're 6... There's no way you die as Envy, that's for sure. There's no gank coming, so he can just kind of min-max everything. We know Envy loves to, like, get level 6 and just go farm the jungle and stuff like that. And this almost looks like when you're playing, like, Jug against OD and stuff like that. You know, you're just focusing on, like, neutrals and getting a couple stacks going or anything like that, because honestly, you just can't contest the wave at points.
Alright, so things very passive in the laning phase. Not going to be that, you know, light the map on fire Dota. Not going to be those crazy death ball strats moving forward. I hope the Drow Ranger can get enough farm here. She's sitting at 8 last hits, so not too shabby. Obviously, Razor charging it up in that mid lane. He's got the static link, is able to steal damage, and Storm Spirit is not much for contesting last hits.
Yeah, his life is just awful right now. Like, so many denies. Envy can have as many as he wants. He's just padding stats at this point. He's just like, Storm's in the jungle, and he's still throwing out denies.
Yeah. He's really trying here. He's going to be using that static remnant. Picks up a little bit of farm, but now his mana pool is quite yucky. Do you think you're going to see some sort of dire rotation to the mid lane to punish the Storm pre-6?
It's probably if they get a kill bottom, maybe, but until then, they should just be happy with how it's going. Yo, SVG god.
Triple Impale, and then a nice fight Carapace. Everyone takes the Illuminate, but it's not that spooky. It's only level 1, so SVG should be able to scamper away. I mean, that Impale
Look where they
just
are, though.
saved
There's
us.
just, like, creeps dying over here, and Drow's, like, chasing a Nyx. Like, there's so much space being made.
Yeah. In terms of levels, I mean, it's going pretty slowly here. Tri-lane on tri-lane action is not going to be spiraling anyone out of control. So Drow Ranger is still sitting at level 2. Same story with the Naga Siren. But when do you think we're going to see that big action? Is it when Storm hits 6? Is it when Razor hits 6? Batrider gets Blink? What's the timings?
I'm just looking at this Puck, too. Just kind of considering all that. I mean, one thing that's nice is that they get this matchup of, like, the Batrider versus the Puck, so at least Puck can't really die here. It's kind of cool. Can pressure MSS with the heavy right-click damage. if King Tekka can get a nice rotation, like if King Tekka hits 6 here, which he will shortly, and he gets that TP down bottom, they might be able to get like a quick double or even triple kill down here with a single Dream Coil, and that's the kind of stuff can just like set off this infamous draft. You know, like they kill all 3 of them, they just run up to the tower. You have to immediately bring 1437 back down, like pressure out waves, all those kind of shenanigans are the things that they really need to go right and open up that space here for the mid lane, so Kataro can just get farmed.
Body blocks here on the Ogre Magi, but not going to be enough to secure that bounty rune. So again, just Drow versus Naga, slow, steady farm up. The supports just trying to bully each other. Storm Spirit headed back to base, but Envy, he's still sitting pretty. He's got that Invis rune ready to go. So potentially we could see some action happening from this Razor, although he's a little hesitant to rotate because this is just absolute free farming here in the mid.
Yeah, credit right now to Kataro, honestly. Like, he is super farmed. He gets some nice spawns in the camps. Now he has Mud Golem, so no longer happy. You know, that's a sad life for a Storm, but he got a couple nice ones and cleared out a couple double stacks. So he's only, what, 200? Well, now he's only about 200 gold behind the Razor. That's super impressive right now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, last hits, Razor's outdoing him, but he's just keeping up in terms of jungle farm. He's budgeting what he needs to, and he's going to be level 6 very, very shortly. So that really crucial window of Storm Spirit, you know, not being mobile, not having that ball lightning is going to be behind him. That's the hardest part of a Storm game, is just not getting ganked in lane. So the fact that he made the choice to go sit back, not play risky in the mid, is really going to benefit. Oh god, up top, Puck drops the base, is able to take up the Batrider.
SVG.
Oh, he's going at it though. He's just out of juice. He's got the impale. You got to budget it carefully. That level 5.
Not even coming.
It's
That's
so
how dead
close.
he is.
SPG. He's so hesitant. If he drops that impale, he knows it's over. But the rest of his team is coming in. He wants to go. He wants to finish off the Storm Spear, but he's not able to do so. The Nyx Assassin is the one that ends up eating it there. One punch from the Ogre will secure the kill. So that was a bit of a turnaround. I think Nyx just spent a little bit too long trying to tease the Storm Spirit, and it did end up biting him in the ass.
Yeah, I was a little bit greedy there just by Envy not rotating over. I think he thought that it was just a sure kill, that was going to be fine, but not quite enough damage there in the end. And this is something that Nyx had been wanting to do for a really long time, because he knew what Storm was doing, right? He's not in lane. Obviously, he's just stacking up and farming these 2 camps here. So when you have heroes like Nyx, Ogre, Elder Titan, and you're playing in that 4 role, you want to come down, you want to contest that. But because they're got some pretty decent pressure from like the Venge and everything, he couldn't quite find it earlier on. Now he finally gets in there, and you see that rotation over for the kills. So we end up 2-0, and then, yeah, that kill up in the top lane. Dream Coil used for the quick burst on the MSS. Very nicely done.
Yeah, Batriders, he picks up the Arcane Boots and isn't going to be grabbing any components of the drums just yet, so a little bit of an interesting build for the Batriders so far. Bottom lane, we got Drow Ranger into a corner. Another Dream Coil being dropped. It's Dream Coil on lasso action, but King Tekka wins out again in the end.
Yeah, this is the one thing about the NP draft. It's just like, whew, poor MSS. Oh, that's a hasted Envy, though.
Oh, yeah.
Dream is the Razor.
He's chasing you up. There's going to be the Gust, but it's not enough to break the link. There is going to be that stun coming back out onto Envy. The Illuminate comes through. Won't connect with any of the Radiant Heroes, but there's going to be that Plasma Field. Envy kills off the Drow Ranger, and he's looking for more. He's got crazy damage. They lose the Keeper of the Light. Now, Envy could be in a little bit of trouble here. He bit off more than he could chew. As the Puck comes in, the Storm Spirit comes in. There's a nice Impale connecting onto 3 once again. And I think the fight might end here. Storm Spirit's fresh out of mana, so we can't continue to chase. But once again, NP, they go in, and they don't quite budget for the rotations of Infamous.
Is that like 3 3-man impales now from SVG?
That
just
was
saying?
3 3-man impales.
Dude, these are some seriously good averages. Having a good old time. But this is the kind of stuff that you can really punish as a Puck, and even a Storm Spirit. Like, earlier on in the game, you don't have your Bloodstone, you don't have your Blink Dagger between those 2 heroes. You have a harder time getting into the fights, finding that nice positioning. But when people are diving towers, that is so the dream when you're playing Pucks and Storm Spirits. You just want to come on down and start brawling it up. You got all this magic damage to throw around. You just have a hard time getting to the right spots. So, again, just good rotations coming out of them. And because, you know, how we talk about like having that good early game for King Tech is so important, he can go into a Veil. He's already got double Null Talisman up right now. That's going to increase the overall damage they have when they start grouping up and fighting.
Yeah,
not looking too hot here.
That Puck is going to be coming online and having a really big game impact shortly. In lane, 3-0 so far. 1 rotation down to the bottom secured another kill. Every Dream Coil dropped has been fruitful, but again, things can turn around pretty quickly. You've got a Naga Siren who has been getting a decent amount of farm, able to pick off this tier 1 tower, so Aui's getting what he wants. Looks like we're going to see the early Radiance builds. Nothing too crazy there.
Envy?
Meanwhile, mid lane, Envy. He just wants to defend here. There's going to be that silence off onto the Nyx Assassin. Can Nyx save the day? Razor goes down. They are able to trade for a Storm Spirit. There's going to be a lasso connecting onto Excel. They lose the Vengeful Spirit, and they want to go for more here. Benjaz is going to get clipped by the Illuminate, but it's not going to be enough now. Nyx Assassin caught up in the Dream Coil. Bat Rider next in the menu. Will they finish him off, or will he get to the high ground? He is going to be hit by that Benjaz arrow. Puck able to dodge out that one click, but the Illuminate not quite enough to finish him off. He's able to Dream Coil, or rather, Illusory Orb himself back to safety.
Those treads paying off right there.
Yeah, oh my god.
Go brown boots veil.
The strength treads into the Illuminate. Oh boy. But either way, that was a pretty bloody fight for 9 minutes into the game. 5 heroes drop. It does end up favoring Infamous quite heavily.
Yeah, just a good call by them again. Just they saw the pressure down bottom from AUI. They knew MSS was down there as well, thanks to the wards that they had and these rotations coming through. So they say, all right, let's just TP our draw mid, and we'll just throw everyone at Envy. So good pick off. Losing the Storm is pretty huge. Just setting him back is going to be very important to the Dire side. Probably the biggest person who can really keep this Nog from getting mega farmed. So try and shut him down as much as you can.
These Bat Lassos have been pretty on point so far. What do you think about the choice to go straight Arcanes and not pick up drums, not save up super heavily for Blink Dagger?
It's kind of interesting. You'll see it sometimes if you're like grouping up earlier on with like a bat. I mean, you just use it for Aether Lens later anyway, so it's fine, but it does super slow down your drums, so that can be used to like tank up a little bit, get the nice move speed, and it slows down your Blink, Envy. Oh, that Arcane Rune!
Oh, that's going to feel good, but will it be enough to save his life? He's able to get off that one last Q, but it looks like he will still end up falling. Storm Spirit feeling really good about that pick. Now 3, 1, and 3. He's already got 1,000 gold on top of his Soul Ring, so it should be a relatively well-timed Bloodstone.
I'm sure you deny a 10-minute Arcane Rune from a Storm Spirit and it's a win. We'll just go with that. I mean, that's like a triple kill in a bottle for a Storm.
Yeah.
Totally. No. It's well played again here by Infamous. Yeah, that's totally. Now, these Arcane Boots, like, it wasn't really a lane up top where he was spamming that heavily. They can super help you farm, but MSS hasn't been like look where he is right now. His Arcane Boots are just on cooldown. He's like in the enemy jungle. He's not like farming up stacks or anything like that. He's not really getting a ton of value. It's almost like he's like bodyguard bat or something.
Yeah, we'll see how it's going to play out if he does go for that early disassemble into Aether Lens. He picks up the Gauntlets of Strength, so next item shouldn't be too far off now. Storm Spirit, we talked about him farming well. Over here, the Vengeful Spirit, she is just super, super poor. Absolute dead bottom of the net worth chart, but as that hard 5, she's been doing a decent job in lane. 5 assists, so her kill participation is exactly where you want it.
Yeah, and you can note the build that she's going for, too. Very nice, the whole Drow lineup, synergy and whatnot, of course. Everyone's got the added damage. Just go for the maximum minus armor. It's good up against the Razor, who's got the naturally high armor, and it's going to help that if you do find a nice opportunity through some big picks through Storm and Puck, you can just head on into the Roche pit. So it also synergizes really nicely with Bloodlust, too, which is important to put out. Just, you know, more attacks, more minus armor, more damage. SVG mid, Vendetta here, looking for Kataro. Not going to set up for a stun, though. Looks like they don't feel like they have enough damage. Don't have enough control overall. It's understandable.
Yeah, I mean, Nyx Assassin did TP out and just watches the Puck pick off his tier 1 towers, so lots of space for King Tekka now. I mean, can you afford to give a Puck that much room? Already a Veil treads at 11 minutes in.
That's a hard knock life. I don't know. I mean, you can never really afford to give Puck room, but what can you do? King Tech is just sitting in lanes and no one's fighting him, so you can't really gank him with your heroes, I don't think, on NP. Unless you catch him with like a Vendetta Carapace.
Alright, we've got Razor that wants nothing to do with this gank up top, pops immediately into his ulti, and there's going to be the Coddle, perhaps calling in some buddies. There we go, just keep an Owie in the loop, making sure that free farm Naga does eventually communicate with the team. Naga Siren picking up almost enough gold for that relic at this point. What's your ideal Radiance timing on a Naga?
I mean, it's always going to be game dependent and stuff. Like this game, he's got the Arcane Boots, so that nice to like later on the Octarine and whatnot, but...
Envy, I don't think he gets out of this one here. His team is nowhere nearby to bail him out, so nice easy pick once again, going the way of the Puck, and Puck didn't have to drop that Dream Coil, so still saving that up for perhaps another fight. Here we go, there's the Dream Coil. MSS skirting around, that does go, end up getting stunned up. Nyx Assassin is going to be just
they want to turn
around.
this so bad.
They
like, look
really
at their position.
do, but do they have the resources?
No. That's the thing. That's what's so hard about it. Like, you're just like, oh, we can come in, we can do, like, get a Riptide going and everything, but it's only level 2, and then it's only, like, level 3 Impale. No one, like, maybe if, like, keeping the lights there ready with a blast or something, you can go for that play, but for now, Nothing doing. And again, Infamous, great rotations. This Storm Spirit, because the Veil's done on the puck and he didn't go for that blink, all the pressure's on Kataro to be the one who just grabs everyone. You know, he has to grab someone and then everyone else follows up. And consistently they're getting that done. The only thing that you can consider downside is they aren't getting a UI, right? He's farming away. He's got 3k gold. He'll probably have Radiance at like 18 minutes. But as long as he kind of keeps rolling on this train.
Yeah, it's tough going against this Naga. Her real threat is that she can just go in, she can completely tempo control the team fight, she can rat really effectively and just, I mean, we saw it last night, Illusion spam down lanes and slowly but surely crack Infamous's structures. Is there anything NP should be doing to play around that? Should they be rotating as, 4 and letting Aoi do his own thing, or should they be also playing really conservatively and just farming up and trying to avoid fights from Infamous?
You can see what they're doing right now, where they have the Vendetta ready, and then they bring 1437 down, so he can ult and bring in Envy if it's an important moment. Like, Envy's just up in the trees right now, because they don't know exactly where the Radiant side are. They don't know if they're, like, doing another big gank up here with the Storm Spirit or something. So this vision isn't really being gained by SVG like you hope. Still don't think he caught the Storm there. Now they'll see the puck down bottom. And 1437, whew, he will get away. Coil was going to be close.
Alright, so King Tekka just going forward really aggressively onto this Keeper of the Light, dropping the Dream Coil for a solo pickoff. I mean, it's expensive, but it is certainly worthwhile, showing off that fancy new Blink Dagger, and this Tier 1 tower is not long for this world.
Oh, this is like the funnest stage in the game as a puck. It is so enjoyable to play this hero right now. When you have Veil and Blink and you're against supports like this, like a Keeper of the Light is one of those supports that is just non-stop food for this puck. You saw it right there. He just completely one-shots you whenever he wants with Dream Coil.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting to watch, and there's absolutely nothing Coddle can do. There's nothing rotating a teammate would have done. It's just quick, it's painless, it's just one, point-blank shot to the head, and it's all over.
And no Hex this game. They have Lasso. The only way, like, you have to Lasso the Storm Spirit, you assume, right? That's pretty much the only way you're going to kill him. And then for the puck, you need, like, SVG needs to be Vendetta. Then he needs to Spike, Carapace, and Orb that puck's using to farm. And then I think maybe then they can kill him. That's pretty much your condition.
Kills, Ben Jazz might walk right into a Hungry Nyx assassin. He stops
but look
to
who's
farm.
here.
Yeah, the rest of his team are smoked
The
up.
baits. This ward up here. They're trying to set this up.
Oh, they really want to find something. It's just sentries dribbled all over the jungle, but none of them actually clip each other. So we're going to have a smoke up behind the Roche pit, looking like they're going up onto the high ground. They will find Envy. Oh, poor little Razor. He was not expecting that at all. This Radiant Vision up near the Roche pit allowed for that setup, but that's got to be demoralizing as a Razor.
Yeah, their wards have been great. Like, Envy, he doesn't even feel safe farming up here. We saw it last time. He's, like, running in the jungle. Now he's down here, and he's inside next to his own Ancients. He's going down. More great aggressive wards being placed down here. This is the ideal situation when you're running a Drow lineup, and you're running this far-reaching initiation heroes like Puck and Storm Spirit. Super well played right now by Infamous. Everything's just going according to plan.
Yeah, overall net worth is going to be about 2,500 in their favor, so it's not getting too crazy just yet, but now this push-heavy lineup is really hitting its own. You've got Puck capable of the snipes, you've got Ogre and Venge as your bodyguards, Storm Spirit with that full Bloodstone, and Drow Ranger. I mean, she's just ready to go. She's got her Dragon Lance, she's got her Treads and her Dom, and she just wants to push, and they're just wrapping around systematically taking structures.
Well, let's see if they manage to get 1437. He'll TP out in time, so he is good. Oh, Storm? Did Storm just cancel? Yeah, he did. He was going to go bottom too.
Well, now he's just going to stick mid.
All right, well, this tower should be next on the menu here. They already have the vision to help set it up. They knock down that tower, then they can head to the Roche pit. It looks like NP probably know about this, but what can you do? Like, MSS needs to be farming jungle. He needs to get that Blink Dagger so badly right now. But the scary part is, even when he has Blink, what's going to happen? He's going to Blink in, he might lasso one of these heroes, and if they don't get swapped, which they probably will, he doesn't even have a Force Staff. So he's just going to be sitting in the middle of a team that you're far behind with a lot of damage to just stack on top of you. His only hope is that, like, Storm dives too far, and then he Blink lassos him. It can't be, like, an actual initiation here from MSS.
And so King Tekka waiting in the trees, not revealing, just kind of sitting back, playing calm. I mean, was revealed earlier on in the push, so you've got to know Puck's at least there. Now pinged out. There's going to be Keeper of the Light looking to blast out, but it's not going to be enough to keep this tower alive, not nearly enough. So the rest of NP, they're grouping up, maybe defending this tier 2 push, but it's just coming at them right now. And Infamous, they've hit that nice power spike. They know that Naga's not going to want to fight. They know that Razor's not farm enough to fight. And they know that Batrider, have they seen his Blink Dagger? I don't believe they have.
We're on to 18 minutes, though. We got the Radiance rocking. Time. The turnaround. Can they do it? This would be a great time to win a fight for them, but
Yeah,
it's
they're
still not going to
trying.
be easy.
SVG sitting there. The Vendetta expired, so they weren't able to find anything in time. They have the Radiant Sentry as well, so the Vendetta wasn't fooling anyone. Now they should be able to just easily deward and go back living their daily lives. They're keeping NP huddled up. Right now, Naga's not farming because she's just focused on defending. And Infamous, they are absolutely in control. That's not to
Look at
say
the
late
lanes,
game this
though.
can change, but it's looking real good for the Radiant.
The lanes are in a really nice spot for the Dire. Like, AUI sent some illusions mid, and that's now forced back the Drow Ranger. So they've actually successfully defended. Now they're on the run. This is where a blink from MSS could come in handy. But the range, it's just not even comparable, right? When you're looking at, like, Storm Spirit and Puck. Now, even Venge gets a cheese. Whew, that is disappointing.
I mean, they'll allow for some nice farm in this bottom lane. Razor will finally start to catch up. He's picked up his Dragonlance, he's got his treads, but still nowhere near that first real item that's going to be tempo controlling. Does he go for like a BKB? Does he go for... I mean, Ags is really out of flavor, but in a push-heavy lineup like this, maybe.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those games where it's... as in... Oh, sorry. You're talking about Envy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, just checking. I was scared that I misheard you and you're talking about the Drow because they're obviously building the same items, but...
That's
no,
actually true. Their builds are very, very similar.
It's kind of like Ag's probably not unless you're like, you know, winning the game and you're like going high ground. You're like, okay, we can win the game right now, just buy an Agnes or something. Typically, it would have been that Boots of Travel build, but he knows he needs to fight right now, so he's go for the treads, which kind of sucks, but it helps tank him up against the Puck and the Storm Spirit, which is really huge. It's almost like someone needs to buy like a Piper. Like he could go for a self hood probably before his next big item, because I think he just needs to be a little bit tankier. Maybe not fully completing the pipe, but this would be one of those value hood games for sure.
Oh, King Tekka gets stunned up, does still manage to drop that Dream Coil, and they should be able to find this Nyx Assassin. Division game is a little bit lacking. They had fantastic wards the whole time, but they're not able to get down the Nyx. Now they're looking to bigger targets here. Eternal Envy might just live courtesy of Aui's song. Everyone goes for those TPs out. So NP outplay Infamous, just kind of style on them. They force them back. They do lose their tier 2 top, but they drop no one in the process.
Okay, this right. Getting a little bit of control here still for the Dire side. Their game plan is very clear. AUI comes out, he pushes lanes, and nice little saving grace there. Important to know, he's still not level 11, so they're going to know that song is the 3-minute cooldown. And this would be a great time to go on the Roche, but yeah, they're already there. Okay. Because, you know, what else do they have to fight the pit, really? It's basically just song. Batrider, you know, he's a god as well, but Last is on or offline too.
Alright, Drow Ranger, she would sure like an Aegis. Do you give it to Katara? Do you give it to Benjaz? What's the play here?
I mean, it's a Storm Spirit, right? I assume you just give it to a Storm Spirit. He's the hero. Oh, MS's god. Almost.
Batrider tried so hard. But unfortunately,
But he didn't get so far.
he did not get that far. Now SVG hits another triple man impale, does lose his life in the backlands, and able to find a kill. He does pick up the Vengeful Spirit, he's looking for more, but his own life might be in danger. He's Dream Coiled up, he wants to finish off the Storm Spirit, will pop the Aegis, but Envy does end up dropping. That's really unfortunate for him. So it is going to be a 3-for-1 trade and the Aegis, but still a great fight for Infamous, and they're just exerting their pressure now, exerting their lead, 7,500 up in their favor, and there's no reason why Infamous can't push out, take the final tier 2, maybe even tap on those tier 3s.
Man, what a nice guy too. Kataro, he walks over here, he finds MSS's range drop, and he puts it back down on the ground.
Does he really?
Yeah, not even going to deny it. What a guy. You know, he's he's being kind to MSS right now. Man, SVG got so greedy there. He had the kill. He could have knocked the Aegis off Kataro there, but he went for that big... Like, he tried to rotate and get everyone inside the impale instead of just impaling the Storm Spirit. Maybe he did the math. Maybe he was going to live with, like, 10 HP, and I'm just, you know, messing up right now. But it looked like the kill would have been there if he went for just the solo man impale. He just tried to go for, like, 4 instead. Not that I can blame him. He hit, like, you know, 4 3-man impales this game.
Alright, so Nyx Assassin sneaking around. He's still got a long ways to go for his Blink Dagger. I mean, assuming we're going to see Blink Nyx and not immediate Ags Nyx, because you do need that gap close for the Drow Ranger. Yeah,
I think it's Ags, actually.
You think it's straight Ags?
Yeah, I mean, what's a Blink? Like, this game is Radiance pushing out, and if the Radiance ever fails and you screw up with the Naga, the Nyx could be, like, your only hope in base, because if you can force them to always jump your Nyx, I mean, that's a win right there. I don't think blinking SVG is going to help that much this game. The only thing might be, like, he might not be rich enough to even have dreams of an Aghanim, so he just, like, stops halfway and grabs a Blink or something, but this is a great game for it. But Blink or Force Staff would also be fine.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I suggest Blinks is because you need to be able to get to that back line and punish this Drow Ranger for just being that sentry turret. I mean, look at her right now. With the Dragon Lance, she's sitting out of range. She just barely gets struck by the Illuminate. She's out of tower range. She's out of the flame break range, so she's just sitting there comfortable. You gotta have some way to go in and bully her.
What Coddle's for? Fire! No, artillery.
A little
being
Coddle.
shot from log.
He's got big dreams, dude. He's got the point booster. He'll get there eventually.
Tense moments here. Now you're gonna know there's a sentry there at the very least. There's that creep attacks SVG, so that's good for them. And they're forced back. It was really important that they knocked down that Aegis. Even though they lost that fight by the pit, it's still pretty huge. The Storm isn't just YOLOing into your base right now.
Yeah, I mean, Storm could be putting out a ton more pressure if he felt secure. Now, Naga Siren, she's got her Radiance and her Travels and an Energy Booster here. So is she looking at the Octarine? Is that what it's going to be next up?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, it should be Manta first, one would imagine, just by your Yasha and whatnot.
I guess disassembling those boots just leaves you with an awkward Energy Booster taking up a slot.
Yeah,
but
save it, you know.
How late does NP need to wait this out now before they're able to really get Naga online? Because it feels like at this point, NP are just kind of fighting this 4-man versus 5-man battle. They've got the song, which has been super helpful, but I mean, Naga Siren's 1-0-1, just not that much of kill participation at this point, 24 minutes in.
I mean, if you're cheering for NP, buckle up, folks. Like, we're going to be here a while. That's pretty much how this game's going to go, right? Just keep pushing. It's all just lanes. Nothing else matters in this game right now besides lanes.
I mean, we just have a clear, like, no one go on this side of the map kind of thing. Like, both teams just continuing to push out pressure. It's going to be a little bit of damage onto the tier 2 for perhaps a full tier 2 trade here. Infamous, I mean, they push really, really quickly now. Drow Ranger's got that Yasha. She's got the Hurricane Pike as well. That tower just got obliterated. And it seems like NP, they could rotate back and try to defend this tier 2, or
yeah,
I mean,
they gotta hurry.
Just YOLO. They're just going for it.
Yeah, well, they need to get back like super fast. A little bit delayed, I think you would say.
Jumping in. They're looking for more. I mean, this Kataro, he's getting crazy with it. He doesn't have that Aegis, so he can't go to YOLO mode, but he's having some fun. Envy down to half health. They've still got Puck sitting there with his Blink Dream Coil, so it's not like all is lost. They get the tier 3 fairly easily, and Storm, he's still staying here. He's challenging NP to come up and try to fight them. They've got this Vendetta Nyx Assassin. They do have the song at the ready. Oh, but the silence comes in. This is just going to be a Dagon Puck now, playing around, having fun. You talked about this just being a fun Puck game, and it truly is, because there's not a whole lot you can do to deal with a lineup this mobile. Your Puck's blinking and illusory orbing around. Your Storm Spirit's got Ball Lightning for days now with that 15 charge Bloodstone. There's so much mobility on Infamous, and the only punish is really, I guess, a Nyx Assassin Impale or Batrider Lasso or Flame Break, but the positioning tools just aren't being exerted by NP.
Yeah, it was a really smart pick. It's something that we've seen come out every once in a while when you just get this nice little off-lane Puck, but when you can sneak him into the lineup and there's no punish available, why not, right? It's like seeing a game where there's no wave clear or something, you just immediately grab yourself a Broodmother. If there's not enough hexes and stuff, you just go Puck plus Storm Spirit too. Super mobile and unbelievably annoying heroes. You don't have like a Lion or a Shadow Shaman or something. And now with the Glimmer Cape up as well here for Stinger, I don't know how you're going to kill those guys.
Well, they're looking to kill you first. I think that's the plan here. They're going to go in. Their smokes are going to pop as they get a little bit closer to this Batrider. They're crawling up the hill. They will be able to find him just obliterated there. Dagon 3 now on for the Puck. He can afford to pick up another level. There's the Raindrop still on the stairs. Will Storm Spirit be merciful this time?
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
That was long range.
He's got 16 Bloodstone charges now, and they're not slowing down anytime soon. The Orchid as well, he's got 4,000 gold, so maybe a Scythe of Vice on the horizon. He could go for something like a Shiva's if he really wanted to keep these fights going with a favorable momentum. But either way, Infamous now 12,000 net worth in their favor. I think NP were coming in as the heavy favorites, but Infamous have just walked on them this game.
Yeah, they're getting drowed pretty heavily. Yeah, you know, they gave up first pick overall, and then you have an entire draft to try and focus yourselves around a drow pick and how you think the game's going to play out. And they have those classic heroes like Keep It Alive, Batrider, Razor, and then the Naga to try and bring you on back.
They've got to go now. It's now or never. They're looking
right
to initiate. They bring in everyone. This is a good positioning fight for NP, but the Storm Spirit just goes in, drops it. They pick up the Keeper of the Light of the backline. They're looking to go into Envy here, and they get the blast here. Penjaz just wailing away at him. This might be it, as there's going to be gems on the deck. They lose the Puck, they lose the Venge, but they do get down the Razor. There will be the
nice
Lasso here on the Ogre. Storm Spirit, he's still up. He's got a decent amount of mana, but not going to stop and save his buddy instead. Just leap into freedom, one bottle sip at a time. So in the end, NP have a very, very effective hold. Losing Razor is obviously not ideal, but getting to take out this puck is really nice.
Yeah, that's such a massive infusion of gold, and AUI just goes straight for the Octarine Core. He decides that it's more. It kind of makes sense in a game like this when you're this far behind. I guess I was incorrect there because Mantis is gonna be great and everything, but the actual cooldown, like the 30 seconds on that mirror image, and the importance of total lane push. It's not so much like total efficiency when it comes to like farming neutrals at the same time or anything like that. It's just lanes. So the Octarine Core actually makes a ton of sense. And that giant, humongous hold. That Solar Crest from AUI, you can see him just living. Like, they don't really have an option up against it.
Yeah, I had some question marks
Envy.
on that Razor Solar Crest. Definitely not a standard staple of the hero, but he's getting a lot of use out of it.
Yeah, it's value items, right? Like, you're in this shitty position. Generally, this isn't the build you want when you pick Razor. He didn't want treads. He didn't want a Solar Crest, but that's what the game's boiled down to. I really do think he needs that value hood. I think he's going to get it next just because the Dagon and the magical burst damage from the puck and the Storm Spirit is too ridiculous at this point. Great BKB purchase from Kitaro, but the fact that he just held against 10-second BKB is giant.
All right, so it looks like it's all coming down to it. I think NP, it's going to be tough. They have no song now to set up their positioning, so they've just got to kind of run at this wall of damage. I mean, again, this Drow Ranger picking off the tower without ever exposing herself to tower shots or any sort of damage or vulnerability, so all of NP grouping up onto this high ground. Rest in peace, Batrider. Now there's going to be a nice little impale. King Tekka could be in some trouble here. He's still got the Dream Coil. Going to be going in to get the silence off onto Eternal Envy, and they get the zip in onto Owie, and they kill off the Naga. There's a gem on the deck, and this may be it as Razor goes down with no buyback to be found. It's a godlike streak, an ultra kill out for Kitaro on the Storm Spirit. He was double damaged the entire time, and he should be able to get away. He's now going to be stuck up here, unfortunately not zipping far enough away from the fight. Oh god, yeah, he's getting mana like, whoa, 42 reach him on his Bloodstone right now.
They got a toy with SC. Oh god.
That's gotta just hurt you on the inside.
That was disgusting. That was actually filthy. How do you just do that to a Nyx assassin with like so many dreams?
Dude, this
like
guy
that,
has a mother and a father and a family.
They're probably watching.
Oh man, that was brutal. Either way, that is Puck now with this Dagon 4. Gonna be buying that upgrade soon just to get to the full zip staff, and at this point it's just gonna be exposed racks. Razor's gonna be up fairly shortly. I'm surprised that Infamous didn't try to push. They still had Drow Ranger up the entire time, and now they bring her in to polish off the racks. Razor's back. They pop the Fortify. Can they hold here? They go for the Mana Leak on the Storm Spirit, so he's got to sit back and play a little bit safer. Envy comes in. He's going to get silenced up immediately. Can they focus him down? They get the Fire Blast off Ogre Magi. He's tanky, but he's not going to be able to stand up to 5 heroes. A Dream Coil comes in. 3 heroes. Oh, God. The Naga goes down again. They pick off the Bat, and Caudle is going to be following, so it's going to be GG called out at 31 minutes. Infamous looking incredibly strong starting out this best of 3 series.
Yeah, that was a really nice variation on the Drow lineup. Adding in the Puck and the Storm Spirit to give yourselves that pick-off potential and that kind of like early to mid-game is very different because you're expecting that Drow strat with like Venge, Beastmaster, all those kind of things where they just come park at your tower, they do their thing, and they leave, and they don't have a lot of split push, they don't have any pick-off potential. But opting into that because they saw the lack of stuns and disables on the side of NP was very smart. And you saw how many times like they picked off Envy. He couldn't like free farm. They had this Keeper of the Light that was like, oh no, I can bring you in the fight at any time. Just go top and farm. AUI will farm mid, and we'll try and hold them back as long as we can. But he was too scared. He's like hiding in trees, even though they're on the other side of the map, because the vision was way better from the side of Infamous, just because they have the advantage. They can push in and do that. And then there wasn't any similar threat coming from the side of NP. MSS just had too slow of a laning stage up against the Puck. He got dumpstered. To be expected. Too much magic burst damage and whatnot. But well played, Infamous Dota.
That was just really, really nice laning from the Puck, getting that early advantage, and then Storm Spirit. Holy hell, towards the end of that game when he picked up the BKB, he just went full beast mode. But again, this is going to be a 3-game series, so we're headed into Game 2 next. NP have a chance to bring it back and fight for their spot in the grand finals here. I'm Android, being joined by Mott Pax. We're here from moonducktv, so sit tight. Game 2 coming up in just a couple of minutes.